All right, so we're going to be talking about AI for SLMCs today. I know that many of you know me and I know you, and that's wonderful. My name is Meredith Ward Hill. I'm the Northeast Digital Teaching and Learning Consultant with DPI. Before this, I was a district media specialist with Pitt County Schools. Before that, a school librarian. And before that, I taught reading. So I'm really excited to be here with you today and get to spend some time talking about AI. I do want to mention a couple things before we get started. First of all, DPI doesn't endorse any company or any product. We are going to be looking at some tools today, but just because I share a tool with you doesn't mean that we're endorsing that tool. So make sure that you're following your school policies or your district policies when you're choosing which AI tools to use. And then also, I like to model transparency in how I use AI. I use AI every day in my personal life and my professional life. My preferred tools are ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity, but there are lots of other ones that I use as well. And I want to let you know that I did use ChatGPT as a thought partner creating this presentation. So we're going to get started by looking at our goals today. So our goals are to understand the role of generative AI in libraries. We're going to apply some tools and some prompt strategies to library practice, and we're going to develop some strategies for leading AI literacy and innovation in our schools and districts. And to get started, what I'd like to do, what I'd like to do is share the agenda with you first. So we're going to be talking really in a job-specific way. So why does AI matter in our libraries? We're going to be looking at some practical AI to improve your workflow, looking at how you can support AI literacy from the library, including adding AI to your lessons. And then we'll talk a little bit about any challenges or resistance you might be facing and think about ways that you can address those challenges. So to start, we're going to do a one-word warm-up. I would love in the chat if you would just put one word, or if you don't want to do a word, maybe you're worded out today, you could do an image or a GIF. Answer this question in the chat. How do you feel about AI in education right now? How are you feeling right now? So I'm going to escape so I can see the chat because I can't see it while I'm presenting. So give me just a second. I'm going to come over to my Teams meeting, maybe, and try to see what's going on here. Oh, yeah. Brian, that's really good. Yeah, that's a good one. We got helpful, optimistic. We've got our good old golden girl there who's real excited. We're happy about it. We're tepid. We're overwhelmed. We're curious. We love it. We are clapping. We're excited and we're dancing with robots. We're also unsure. It's making some parts of our jobs easier. Oh, hi, Chesley. Good to see you. The more you know, Christy. I love that. Reading Rainbow, reading Star there, and making us happy. We're learning about AI, so of course it's still, it's still a new field. At least the generative part of it is. We're only a couple years in now, so it's changing all the time. It's all about how you market it. Apprehensive, challenging. Yeah, so lots and lots of feelings around AI, and that is totally normal and okay. So it's not just one thing, right? It's not just exciting. It doesn't just help us. We also have challenges. It also has risks. There's hallucinations and bias and all kinds of things that we have to consider when we're thinking about how to implement AI in education and AI in our practice. So we're going to take a look at some of those things today. Thank you for sharing that. So we're going to start off with the why. I feel like it's really important when we are asked to implement something new or learn about something new that we understand why. These are a few ideas about why AI matters in K-12 libraries. This is not a comprehensive list. It's just a starter list. And what I'd love to happen right here is for a few brave folks to unmute and talk about which of these or something different matters to you in your library. Why are you here in this presentation today to learn more about AI? Why do you feel like it matters to you in your library? So I'm going to take a second to have some folks hopefully share aloud or in the chat or in the collaborative notes document. And I'm going to rely on Stacy to help me out in the chat in the doc. Christy, I see your hand.
Somebody's got to start, right?
Yes.
I teach AI. I teach magic school because everything else is blocked in our district. Because I want students to learn how to use it ethically and in a safe environment, so that they can learn the right way to use it and how to use it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you'll get
I already
better.
said ethically, but that's it. But also to show teachers how to use it to help make their job just a little bit easier.
I love that. I hear a lot of things there. First, your primary concern is ethics, right? So we really want to help kids learn to use AI as a learning tool, not a learning shortcut necessarily. And so helping them use it ethically is really important. Also, I like the idea of really being a leader in your school for your staff and helping them understand AI implementation. Thanks, Christy. Winona, I saw your hand too.
Hello, everyone. My camera doesn't work, sorry.
That's okay.
For me, same thing, ethics, as well as we have a lot of older staff who are a little afraid of technology, and I think they're afraid of it. So definitely learning more how I can bring it back to my school community, for my staff, students, and the community, because we'd have a lot of digital community workshops and stuff. So that's my main purpose for being here today, is to learn how I can help others.
I love that, Winona. Thank you. That is the heart of who we are as librarians, is people who want to help others learn new things and to kind of help them overcome that fear, right? Sometimes change is scary, new things are scary. And so the more we can learn, the more we can help others learn and reduce that fear. Thank you. There's somebody else who'd like to unmute and share?
I'll volunteer. This is Jennifer Long. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Jennifer.
I'm piggybacking on everything that Christy and Kim just said, but I think the ethical piece is very important. My husband is a graphic designer and artist, and I think there's a lot of issues surrounding the ethics of AI as far as copyright is concerned, and what is AI using to learn from. And I think that that's important. I don't think we can hide from it, though. I don't think we can put our heads in the sand and say that it's not there. So I think it's really important to have those conversations with kids about the ethical use of it. And I think they can handle that. I really, even at the elementary level, think that they can handle that. The other piece that I'll throw out there is just with it being Earth Day yesterday, the environmental piece of it. I did not realize until somebody posted about it on Earth Day is how much energy is used with like AI image generation. I had not thought about it at all in that manner, but just if everyone's using, image generation, we're generating a lot of electricity and adding to that environmental impact. So I'd never thought of that piece before. So those are my two things.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing, Jennifer. And you're absolutely right. I saw, I can't remember if it was an article or video clip where I believe it was Sam Altman with OpenAI was talking about how much money and energy is spent just on people saying please and thank you to chatbots. Every prompt that you give, it does use energy. And so there's also the thought around ethically, should we not be kind to our chatbots and say please and thank you and show good manners because we're training the chatbot as we speak to it, right? And so these are new areas of ethics that we haven't explored yet with ourselves, grappled with ourselves, or with our students. And I think you're right, Jennifer, that students can certainly have these conversations as well. I think our kids are extremely smart, and we can engage them in these kinds of debates and conversations around copyright, like you said, the definition of art, and what has value, and does art created by humans have more or less value than computer generated art? These are all debates that we can certainly have with our students and with each other. And they are absolutely higher order critical thinking, which is how we want to engage our students with AI instead of having them think that it's a tool that we copy paste from. We need to help students understand how to use it as a learning tool and engage with that critical thinking. Thank you, everyone who shared. I appreciate that very much. So here are just some thoughts in each of these buckets around why AI matters in K-12 libraries. And I know we already touched on a lot of these. The one that we have not touched on, or one of the ones we haven't touched on, is the one about future-proofing libraries. We're in an age right now where libraries are not receiving the funding that they were, and media coordinators are losing positions, and we want to make sure that AI helps us stay relevant, that we are leaders in implementing it in our districts, and we want to future-proof our libraries and show that we are innovators in our schools. So that's one area. We talked about just to go along with that, being an instructional leader. Christy mentioned about helping staff learn about AI, and we talked about AI and media literacy around ethics. A few we haven't talked about are also personalizing learning, using AI to perhaps level text or differentiate lessons. And then also increased efficiency, helping us automate some things that perhaps used to take us a little bit longer. Now we can do a little bit more quickly. So we're going to look at some practical AI for your workflow. I did just end on efficiency, so I want to make sure that we talk about efficiency. I do have a top 10 icon here. I'm not saying that these are the top 10 ideas, but they are 10 ideas about how you can use AI to optimize your workflow as a librarian. And what I would love to know are, what are some of the things that you are doing to utilize AI to make your work more efficient? Are you doing anything that's on this list, or are you doing other things? I know that's a really popular way to utilize AI is for efficiency. So if you could unmute or share in the chat, I would love to hear. How are you using AI already?
Hey, Kim,
Hi,
I used
Meredith. Oh, okay. Sorry.
the Notebook LM for 2 different things this week and just blew people away.
I want to hear how you blew people away. I got to stop sharing this screen so I can see your face. Okay, tell me how you blew people away. Where are you?
There I am.
There you are, Chesley. What'd you do?
So last week, I used it the way that Molly had suggested, to create a podcast to just send to my principals, just say, hey, when you've got 10 minutes, just listen to this in your car, and then we'll have something to talk about at my evaluation. And then we're working on Chromebook collection and changing over a model, and I have to get people on board with this plan for next year. So I put everything into an infographic, and I cited my sources at the bottom. When I uploaded the infographic, I didn't even have to push anything in Notebook LM. It made a 5-minute podcast of these 2 people talking about Wiley's notebook, our Chromebook proposal plan, and how it connects to the district mandates, and how it connects to the Triple E framework. And then at the end, did not prompt it to say this, then at the end, something to the effect of, if we are putting these things in place, how are we not only able to manage our devices, but to use technology to step up the level of engagement in student learning? And I was just like, so I showed somebody else how to do it, and they were like, no way.
That's amazing. I love the joy on your face. I will say that presenting on AI, I see more smiles when people learn about some of the things that it can do for them. It is the best PD I ever give because people are happy when they hear about all the things that they can do. So I love, Chesley, that you're using Notebook LM as an advocacy tool to help you get your message across to your administrator around your evaluation, and then also to look at your Chromebook collection plan. That's amazing. I see, Molly, you want to share that?
I sure can. It's hard to follow Chesley with that. But a friend of mine is a middle school librarian and likes to make displays, but she's still getting to know her collection. And so we worked with ChatGPT to take her title copy list as a PDF as kind of the source material. And we also took the top 50 books that were checked out the previous year and asked for like 10 book displays that would potentially move books that, for example, Alan Gratz is like the top checked out book, all of them, or he's a top checked out author. And so she had a kind of like fun travel the world through reading. And so it knew that Alan Gratz was the high influence of a lot of readers, but it pulled books from her collection that kind of went along with what else to read. So it also, came with actual books from her collection, and then just had some fun display ideas to go with it too. And then she handed the list to the student. She just kind of copied and pasted, put it in a document, printed it, and gave it to a student and said, hey, you can make this. You can go out and help us with putting this together. So, and then I also have to give, I was getting ready to write it, but Chesley made this point about Notebook LM, and shout back to Stacy, who created it a very helpful kind of guiding document, if you will. So about how school librarians can use Notebook LM to do what Chesley was talking about. So just wanted to give, as a good librarian does, we give credit to the original source. So thank you, Stacy.
We sure do. And now that we've mentioned that source, I wonder if we could share it in the chat or in the collaborative notes doc would be wonderful. Stacy is a friend to librarians. We love that. And she's also a Notebook LM genius. How else are we using AI as an efficiency tool to optimize your workflow?
Hello.
Hey.
I have been using ChatGPT lately. I've used it for a while now, but we are revamping like all of our documents at school and putting new ones in place, especially for our library. And as you saw when you came, we creating a new one. So I used it to put in or tell exactly what I wanted as far as templates, as far as checking out a book in library rules and regulations. Check-in checklist for our librarian, Ms. Blaylock, or any template from remote learning plan just for in-house. And I told it what I wanted, and it gave us all these cool feedback on templates and plans that I can take and tweak it and make it my own.
I love that. And I say in every AIPD that I give, it's not that you can't do that yourself. You can do these things yourself. It's the amount of time it would take you to come up with all of those templates. So it's saving you the time in creating the template, and then you can work on the high quality content that goes in the template. So it saved you that piece that's easily automated, and then you can focus on the stuff that is the high quality, more creative content pieces. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing, Winona. That's great. All right, I'm going to come back over here to my presentation. Oh, Joseph. Thank you, Joseph, as a thought partner. And now I've clicked out, so it's gone away. Hold on. Let me get back over here. Y'all, Teams is not my friend today. It doesn't want to let me maximize my window. Sadness. Stacy, will you share what Joseph just said in the chat?
Yes. So Joseph says, He uses it as a thought partner to craft emails with clarity, lesson planning. He has fun creating images with it and videos. I would love to hear more about creating videos with it because I haven't done a whole lot with that yet, just sort of, short little mini ones. So that's super cool. And just to let you know, I am capturing the chat in the doc as well, just because I know like the chat disappears afterwards. And there are so many really cool tidbits that go on in the chat. So
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Stacy. So I don't know what is happening here, but I am clicking share content and it is just really not interested in sharing my screen. So let me try this again. Hold on. It's like that button does not want to work at all.
Can you try Shift Command E, like do a keyboard shortcut?
I'm pushing it and it's
Still nothing.
not going.
Do you want me to present for you?
Yeah, I guess so. Let me send you the link to the
Gotcha.
I'm sorry.
Teams, everybody's
It's kind of
friend.
acting up for
It
me too,
is.
Meredith. Like
Is
things aren't
it?
working
Okay.
Teams
great.
is a
So
mystery.
It really is a mystery.
Where are you putting them? Are you putting them in an email or
I'm
chat?
trying to even get to my email. Like I'm having a hard time navigating and it's having a real hard time loading. I don't know if my network is overwhelmed.
Could you just put the link to your presentation in the chat and that way she could access it there maybe?
Yeah, I will. I'm not sure why everything wants to be frozen right now. I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize.
it's not you, it's Teams. I'm seeing a lot of the same on my end. Things aren't clicking right.
You're making me feel better, Vera. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, Molly, are you able to open it?
I had to request to be able to view it.
Oh my gosh.
I know. It's always the worst too when you're in presenter, like you just like everyone sitting here knows this. We have all been here where like it's worse when you're on the spot. It's not so bad when you're not on the spot. It's always harder when you're on the spot. So yes, we all understand, Meredith. It's fine.
I appreciate that, everyone. I appreciate it. All right, Molly, I'm adding you now.
It's just Teams, Meredith. It's so clunky. It's like my least favorite of all of the virtual meeting options.
Same. Absolutely the same.
All right, so I'm in.
Okay.
I can see it.
Hooray.
I'm going to present. Maybe.
All right, I'm enjoying all the camaraderie in the chat. Thank you, everyone.
Well, yeah, now the good news is now you can see the chat.
I can. Now I can see the chat. All right, Molly, let's skip ahead some. Okay. All right. So we've looked at some. Yeah. All right. So we looked at some ideas for how to optimize your workflow. What I have here for you, and I know you can't copy paste out of the presentation, but what I have are some just some prompts for you to try. So I know we had a variety of feelings that you mentioned when we talked about, what's your one word that you are feeling about AI? And some people said unsure or hesitant or things were challenging. And I know that sometimes, like I said before, getting started with something new can be hard. And sometimes it's hard to see the relevance to, a specific task. And so what I wanted to do was provide a variety of prompts to help you get started utilizing AI to improve your workflow And not only those basic level improve your workflow, but also thinking about some higher level things. So what I have here are just kind of 3 levels of prompts that you are welcome to. I know you can't copy paste out of this presentation, but you can. I have them typed out in the collaborative notes doc, so you can copy paste there. And what I'd love for everybody to do, if you're interested, is, and maybe not right now, because I know we just spent some time with technical difficulties, but just see if some of these prompts might be useful or helpful to you. And one thing I want you to remember is that when you are prompting a chatbot, the output that you receive after your initial prompt, it's important to think of that output as a draft. You're going to want to work with the chatbot to refine that output to get exactly what you want it to be. So, for example, I'm just going to pick a prompt out of here from the beginner prompts. Create a theme for a library bulletin board that promotes ethical tech use and includes 3 slogan ideas plus 3 relevant book titles. Okay, well, maybe it gives you 3 book titles that you don't have, and that's not helpful. Or maybe you don't like the slogans, or maybe you changed your mind and you don't want it to be about tech use, you want it to be about copyright. So you can have a conversation with the chatbot. What it gives you the first time is just its first draft, and it's trying to figure out exactly what you want. So sometimes if you don't provide a ton of information in your first prompt, you'll get back a pretty generic response or output. So it's important to be able to think about adding more detail to your prompt as you further that conversation, providing more context, providing more information so that you can get a specific output that really supports what you're looking for. Molly, let's go to the next slide, because the next slide talks about getting better output. So I'm really excited that we have Vera Cubero in here with us today. Vera is one of our team members on the digital teaching and learning team, and she's our emerging technology consultant, and she's created a lot of resources around how to maximize your AI usage. One of the things that she's created is this poster here called Strategies to Ensure More Accurate Responses from LLMs. And so this poster speaks to reducing hallucination. Hallucination is when a chatbot will give you information that's incorrect. So it speaks to reducing hallucination, but it also speaks to really improving that output that you get to ensure that it's something that's useful and relevant to you. And so she's got 5 tips here listed. The first one is to give clear, specific instructions. So you have to tell it exactly what you want. If you're looking for a bulleted list, you got to tell it. If you want a lesson plan, you need to tell it. If you're looking for a narrative, you've got to tell it. Don't be vague. Be really specific. Just like you were giving instructions to, like Vera says in this document, to an assistant, make sure you give enough detail so that it can successfully complete the task. Also, sometimes it can be helpful to ask the AI to take on a role. So let's say you're asking it a question around school administration. Maybe you're trying to get on the same page as your principal with something. You could say, you are an experienced principal, you are very knowledgeable about XYZ thing, and then ask it the question that you want to ask. So it's providing you a perspective as an expert in whatever the field is that you're interested in learning about. Also, she talks about using delimiters, such as quotes. So that can really help the AI understand what kind of response you're looking for. So you could say, here's an example of what I'm looking for. Make your response look like this. Also chunking your input and output. So if you will give the AI small tasks, if you have a large task for it to do, break it down into small parts and go step by step. So you'll get a high quality response each time. If you ask it to do many, many, many things at one time, it may get, it will appear perhaps confused. It will give you some of the response that you're looking for, but not all of it. So breaking it down helps get high quality steps if you have a large project. And then also providing reference material. So for most large language models, you can upload reference material. You can attach, if you want to ask questions about a document or you want to refer to a file, or you have, in Notebook LM, especially like Chesley was talking about, maybe you've uploaded your niece's evaluation. If you give it reference material and then ask questions related to that reference material, that can be quite helpful. Something that I do a lot is I will download a presentation and I will say, help me make this more clear, or make sure it matches my learning goals, or what can I do to make this more engaging, things like that. So I've given it the reference material and then I'm asking the question. We can go to the next one, Molly. So what I'd like to think about now is how we can utilize AI by grade bands. We know that students can learn about AI before they can learn with AI. And what I mean by that is that most tools, you have to be 13 plus or 18 plus in order to use those AI tools. But before students are 13, they can begin learning about AI and how it works, even though they can't actually use a tool yet. So what I'd love to hear is, by different grade bands, how are you using AI, either for instructional use or for library programming or for library leadership? And I would love to either have you capture your ideas in the doc, or share them aloud, or put them in the chat. It'd be great if we could hear from at least one person from each grade band.
Okay. I was trying to pull it up, Meredith. So I am at a high school, and so right now our district, most AI tools are open for our staff, but nothing is really open for our students. The only thing we have open is Curipod, because it's for ages 13 and up, so at high school our kids are over that age. So we've been doing a lot, and I've been doing a lot with the teachers, trying to share resources, encourage them to do it, sometimes in sort of small ways. So right now I have a little library bingo that I do with the kids and the teachers of different tasks in celebration of School Library Month. So this is the first year I'm doing it with the teachers. And I said, okay, so you can use an image of yourself. And I said, you can use a photo, you can use a Bitmoji. I said, or if you want to explore an AI tool. So one of my teachers, she posted it on her social media that, this is forcing her to stretch outside of her comfort zone. So she used ChatGPT to make a picture of herself. So that is her. She said she wanted to look like a Disney princess. I was just most impressed. So she's one of my science teachers, that not only did the book cover actually look like the Lessons in Chemistry book cover, but both the title and the name were spelled correctly, because that's usually my Achilles heel of images, that they're not spelled correctly. I feel like I'm trying to show them, don't be afraid of it. This is absolutely a tool that can help you and make things easier. And so I feel like sometimes some of this small stuff, it's a good way to kind of dip their toe into the water of using it.
Yes, Katie, that was wonderful. Thank you for pulling that up, and thank you for sharing. Yes, those of you who do AI image generation, you might have noticed recently that ChatGPT in particular has made a lot of improvements around text within images, which is exciting. So I love the idea of dipping your toe into the water, and I really like the idea of doing something creative and fun, right? Because again, like you're talking about people being hesitant or, nervous or scared or intimidated, whatever it might be, if they can just try it and feel success and feel like, oh, that was fun and that wasn't too hard, then you can begin to make some gains. That was great. Thank you, Katie. I see, let's see, somebody's hand is up, but I can't see your name. Rebecca.
Hi, I'm sorry, I don't have the option to turn my camera on from within Teams right now, but
you're good.
I am in an elementary library setting, and just a couple of the things that I've used AI for within the last month or so. So I downloaded a report through Destiny as a PDF that had a list of all of my overdue books and checkouts, and just think as we're getting towards the end of the year, I wanted to start thinking about like which kids to kind of target that maybe had larger collections of things that haven't come back in a while. And I was able to feed that PDF into ChatGPT and prompt it to give me students to focus on having conversations with, and like who to put at the top of my radar as how many books they have checked out. And it also analyzed like kids that have had overdue books for the longest amount of time, which is not something that I've been able to do very easily in Destiny. So that was really helpful. I've also been, this is in our particular school district, quarter 2 and quarter 4 are like the big research quarters where we're just doing a huge dump of nonfiction. And so I've been working really closely with our grade levels to curate content for research projects. And our 3rd graders are doing athlete biographies at the moment. And our 3rd grade teachers wanted to have a teacher model of a biography essay. And so I helped create an example of an essay prompt for them. And I think I did it within the Canva AI features. And it came up with an entire essay based on character traits with Wilma Rudolph. And so we used that as like a teacher prompt. It didn't make me sit down and like write an actual essay for 20 minutes. It gave me a great starting point. And then I've also been trying to pay really close attention to the features of AI that are coming out within Canva lately, because that's something that is really high engagement for us within the elementary level, like all the graphics and features and things that you can include within your presentation slides. So I've been trying to kind of concentrate on that and Magic School AI as our 2 primary curricular focuses. But that's kind of what's going on with us right now.
Rebecca, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. I really love how many different examples you gave of how you can use AI even at the elementary level. And none of them involved, having students use AI themselves, but you're using AI for data analysis. You're using it to market your library. You're using it to create resources for teachers. You're using it to curate resources. So many things to enhance your all the hats that you're wearing, right? Your administrative hat, your instructional hat, your provider of resources hat. So that was really lots and lots of wonderful examples for the elementary level. Thank you so much. Do we have a middle school person with us who'd be willing to share?
I can share.
Okay, thanks.
For our middle school, they go to the library like 3 times a week with Miss Blaylock. So they have introduced themselves to AI. And she has been giving them books and things to, read or research and do. She went to Paris. So she brought back all the students' gifts, and she brought back things, and she had a tea party, and she brought back like food from Paris. So they had to learn about it, the art and everything, come back, She brought their gifts and they had a tea party at school and had to do a report. Here's where my issue is with AI and them. What do you do with students who, or how do you handle, they may take a question or a report, put it into any AI platform, and then they just copy and paste, and then they turn it into you, and you know it's not theirs at all. So like, what is your grading point? So you say, hey, tell me blah, 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 or redo it. How do you address that issue with students who just copy and paste and turn it in and think they're going to get a 100 on it?
So I'm so glad you asked. We're going to skip forward some slides because I think a lot of people are probably in that same boat. So we're just going to skip forward a few here. And Molly, I'll tell you when to stop. We're going to keep on going. We're going to keep on going. And I think it's the next one. All right, we're going to stop right here. Go back one. Okay, so it's really important that all of your teachers make it very clear to students what their expectations are around AI usage for every assignment. And so if you don't tell students that they can't use AI, they may not. Now, a lot of students are going to know that they probably shouldn't, but many of our students, as they are growing up digital natives, they don't see AI necessarily any differently than Google or any other tool that they're using on their phone or their computer or their tablet. You know, all day long, they're using all of these digital tools that are right there at their fingertips. And so it may not be something that they're doing maliciously. It may just be like, well, I can Google this question and I can, you know, type down what I found on Google, or I can copy it out of AI. And I found the answer and I turned in the right answer. So it's really important that we're explicit with students about when it's okay to use AI and when it's not for every assignment. So this is a continuum that the amazing Vera created that you can certainly take and use, have your teachers use, and teach your students how to use, so that teachers can be really clear with students. This is a level 0 assignment. You're not allowed to use AI at all in this assignment. Or this is a level 2 assignment. You have to create the content, but you can use AI to get some feedback on your content and improve it. Maybe ask it to edit. Excuse me. So if we haven't been really clear with our students about what's okay and what's not okay, that's on us. If you have been clear with students and you have said, you know, AI usage is not allowed for this particular assignment, you as the teacher are the expert on what the student can and cannot do. So you've observed what they can do in class. You've observed, you maybe have pieces of writing that they have done in class. You've had conversations with them. You know what their vocabulary level is. So if a student turns in something that a teacher is pretty sure was generated either by AI or perhaps it was found online, it was not generated by the student, that's a learning opportunity for the teacher to be able to have a conversation with the student and say, you know, I'm not really sure about where this writing came from. Can you tell me about it? Can you tell me what you wrote about? Can you tell me what was the main idea in your paper, or what were some of the supporting details? Or you use this word and I'm not really sure if, you know, what this word is. Can you help me understand how you use this? So ultimately, the way that you handle it would be the same way that you handled it when a student turned in a paper 20 years ago that's the same as the paper that their neighbor turned in, or they copied somebody else's answers on a test. It's, you know, it's a time for you to say, to evaluate, why isn't the student engaging with this material? What don't they understand? What are the reasons that they are seeking out shortcuts? Is there some kind of scaffolding I need to provide to them? Is there some remediation that I need to do? Have I asked them to do an extensive amount of homework, and perhaps at home, their home is not conducive to the amount of homework that I've asked, or they have other responsibilities? You would handle it in the same way. You're going to evaluate your teaching, evaluate what the student needs, evaluate why the student is either has either chosen not to complete what you've asked them to complete or feels like they are unable to do so, and you would handle it in the same way. Does that help? What other ideas are out there? I know this is something a lot of people probably run into. How does your school address it? Yes, Brian has put in the chat, we as educators have to consider if we have created the conditions that have caused or made it more likely for a student to cheat. And we might need to redefine what cheating is also. And we need to make clear for every assignment, what is cheating for this assignment and what is cheating for this assignment. And that might be two very different things. So if you'll go to the next slide, Molly, I think it's the next one. No, keep going. Okay, so on this slide, this is the 0 to infinity framework. It's something that that Vera created to help students, again, know and understand what amount of AI is okay to use and at what level is it okay to use it. And so we can use these graphics to be really clear about, for this assignment, as a teacher, if my goal is to establish a baseline, maybe it's the beginning of the year, I don't know these students yet, I'm not sure what their abilities are, maybe I need them to write a 5-sentence paragraph on their own just so I can evaluate what they can do. Then for my objective, to reach my objective, I need them to do a level 0 assignment. But maybe later in the year, I'm trying to teach students how to craft a powerful prompt to get really high quality output. Then I'm going to need them to do an AI empowered assignment. So if they don't use AI for that assignment, then they haven't met the objective. So what is cheating will depend on what my objective is and how I expect my students to learn that objective, if that makes sense. Okay, I'm seeing some good things in the chat here. Let's see what we got. The student is still responsible, but sometimes we add additional pressure that might create a greater likelihood for them to cheat, right? Also, Jennifer, if we only create assignments that ask for some reason, no personal opinion, there's more likelihood of copy paste, right? So then we have this opportunity also to rethink how we're teaching certain things, right? And so one thing that we can do is ask students to reflect on perhaps a conversation that's happened in class. For example, maybe we had a debate in class about, we'll use Jennifer's example around copyright and art and AI. And we had a debate, and I need you to write a reflection on what you felt like the key takeaways were from this debate today. Well, AI doesn't know what debate we had. And she's talking about adding personal opinion in there. If you make it, what do you think about, AI use in school? What do you think about asking AI to write your paper? Well, then they've got to actually give their opinion. And then Christy says she uses the "Can I use AI" slide when she presents to teachers, and she's scared of districts who are too slowly reacting, who are doing a disservice to both students and teachers. And that's a really good point, Christy. Winona mentioned earlier, AI is here, and she said the students have introduced themselves to it, right? And for a lot of our schools and districts who perhaps have not had AI training yet or don't have AI guidelines or policies in place, that is what's happening with our students. They're introducing themselves to it, and they're trying to figure out this road, this ethical road, right? And I think sometimes, as teachers, we want to be experts before we teach something. And we don't necessarily feel like we're AI experts. So maybe we're a little hesitant to stand up and teach our students about AI. Even if we're not AI experts, we do have wisdom and experience that our students don't have. And we can guide them in ethical use, even if we don't know the technical ins and outs of how AI works necessarily. we can help guide them to use it as a learning tool and to use it ethically. So that's something to consider as well. How are we doing on time? Gosh, 8 minutes left. Oh, we need another hour. Okay, skip ahead, Molly, because I want to show while we're talking about AI and lessons. So go back one more. I'm sorry. I want to show them this really quick. You have in the meeting chat, I did put, oh, you know what? It's not public yet. Molly, will you copy paste the sample media literacy plan and the 0 to Infinity AI integration assistant and put those in the chat? I was going to demo for you, but instead I'm just going to tell you what this is because I want to get to the last thing before our time is up. So Molly's putting these two things in the chat. One is a sample lesson plan about media literacy, and it's just a lesson plan. And then the second thing is a custom chatbot that Vera has made. And that custom chatbot has been trained on the graphic that we just saw, the 0 to Infinity graphic, where you have AI free lessons, and then you have level 1, level 2, and then AI empowered lessons. And that's a continuum. As you're building AI literacy with students, you're going to start with AI free lessons where you're just kind of teaching them about AI. They're not really using it yet. And then as they build AI literacy, you'll allow them to use it more and more in different ways. So the chatbot that Vera has created has been trained on that particular graphic, and you can go to that chatbot that Molly has put in the chat for you. You can take your pre-existing lesson plan about anything at all. It can be about science, math, social studies, English, media literacy, it doesn't matter. And you can paste your lesson plan into that chatbot and ask the chatbot, make this a level 1 lesson plan. And because it's been trained on that framework, it will take your existing lesson plan and it will embed level 1 AI literacy skills into your lesson plan. And the beautiful thing about it is even when you do an AI empowered lesson where students are embedding AI tools throughout the lesson, it still keeps student learning at the center of what is happening. It will still be all about critical thinking, communication, collaboration. It will keep all of that at the center of the lesson, even when they're using AI throughout the lesson in an AI empowered lesson plan. So this is a great way to help your teachers dip their toe, like Katie was saying, into AI. If they're a little nervous and they don't really know how to teach AI literacy, but we all know that we need to, they can take that lesson plan on the Pythagorean theorem or on mitosis or whatever it happens to be, paste it into that chat bot and ask it, make it a level 1, level 2, level 3, and it will embed those AI literacy skills into that lesson plan. It will keep the standards the same. The learning objectives will be the same. It will just add in some AI literacy to plans. It is a fabulous tool to share with your staff and also for you to use as you get started. Okay, let's go to the next slide. I know we only have 5 minutes left, and I really want to get to this part. I want to hear a couple of things. No, I will give you a link to the presentation. The answer is yes. Sorry, Christy, I'm looking at it. I will give it to you. Actually, hold on. Let me go ahead and share it right now, and then I'll give it to you right now. While I'm getting this link, will you please tell me what's your biggest challenge and what resistance are you experiencing? And those might be the same thing, but I would love to hear about both of those things, either of those things. What challenges are you facing and what is causing resistance? And let's talk about some solutions to that too. I know we've only got 4 minutes, but I want to be sure we share some of that.
Meredith, do you want us to talk or put it in the chat?
Both.
Okay.
Erin, you're talking, so talk.
Okay, I'll talk.
Awesome.
So I literally did an AI guidelines. We're in our rough draft of the guidelines stage, and I've been doing presentations with different groups in our district about it. So today I presented to the math coaches. And whew, that's a whole other, they were great. Do not get me wrong. They were fabulous. But, their concerns were about computational skills. And I really had to stop them and remind them that, I'm old. And when I was in middle school, a teacher could say, it's not like you're going to have a calculator in your hand every day, and they would be telling the truth. And that is not true now, right? So, if kids can understand how the computation is correct, it doesn't matter if they use a calculator to get it or whatever. Like we had to get into that kind of conversation. So that was one of their biggest things, is they were they were having a hard time conceptualizing what the skill is that the kids really needed, right? Like they're like, well, they need to be able to compute it. I'm like, no, they need to be able to know how to tell something else to compute it, to know if it's right or wrong, and to know how to use that information. So that's probably one of the biggest ones, is they just couldn't adjust their own thinking for that. They were trying. I don't want to give the wrong impression. They were like super gung-ho. They just were having a hard time.
So, Erin, I really want to say thank you deeply for saying that, because I think we are shifting as a, I don't even want to say as a culture, as humanity. We are going to need to shift in thinking about what skills were important 5 years ago and what skills are important now and what skills are going to be important in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 years. And it's going to be vastly different. The skills that are needed a year or two from now are going to be vastly different than what was needed 5 years ago. And what you're saying is exactly right. It is not necessarily going to be important that they can do the computation themselves. It's going to be important that they can ask something to compute and then check that the computation is correct. So that doesn't mean that they don't need to understand how to compute. Of course, they need to understand how to compute. But for students to do the computation themselves and then rely on their own ability to get it to be exactly perfect may be a skill that's not as important as being able to look at a computation and recognize, is this correct or not correct? So of course, we're still going to have to do that foundational instruction, how to compute. And then we're also going to have to say, now, how do you get, XYZ tool to compute? And then the importance of checking that computation. So shifting the way we think about what skills are really going to be needed. There is so much good stuff in the chat right now. Let's see. Let me go back. Challenge, keeping up. Resistance, teachers getting time to try out and play. They need more exposure. Certainly they do need more exposure. And as librarians, we are uniquely positioned to be able to offer times. Come in during your planning period. Let me come to your PLC and help you play. Let's look at some data analysis together. Let's try out making a cute infographic. Let's try out turning ourselves into an anime character. Let's try out whatever it might be. So we have this position that is beautiful because we can work with every staff member and we have the opportunity, give me 5 minutes in the staff meeting. Let me stay after school for 30 minutes and work with teachers on, how to craft a prompt. All of these things that we can, provide those short snippets of time to help them dip their toe in. Chesley's saying she's having a hard time even getting front of staff because there's PD that she's not been able to present. We know that there's a lot of pressure, time pressure. So it's just being really creative about how can I sneak into this classroom, or how can I sneak into the department meeting, or how can I grab somebody's ear as they're standing at my desk telling me what a terrible day they had. Well, let me show you this cool thing that will make your life a little bit easier. Challenge, students are not waiting for adults. They're not waiting for adults. So we need to get on the bandwagon and say to kids, we know about AI, we know it's here, we want to help you use it effectively, efficiently, responsibly, ethically. So we've got to remove that taboo, right? If we don't talk about it with kids, then they think they've got to hide that they're using it. We don't want them to hide that they're using it. We want to teach them how to use it in an ethical, responsible way as a learning tool, not as a shortcut. Let's see. Red tape of implementing new technology. Ferris, yeah, thank you for saying that. So we know, when a new tool comes out, there's a lot of evaluation that has to be done. Is it safe? How can we use it and make sure we're protecting student privacy? So I want to make sure I say that. Please don't ever put any PII into any chatbot. PII is personally identifiable information. So we want to make sure we're not sharing student first and last names. We're not sharing UIDs. We're not sharing any information at all that could be personally identifiable. So we can redact some of that information and still use it for data analysis. So yes, there's red tape. And we know we have kids using it at home and they're not using it at school. So we've got an equity issue there, right? We've got students who have access to it and students who don't. And we know that it is here. Employers are looking to hire people who have these skills. So we want to make sure we try to reduce that divide in between the folks who have access to AI and those who don't. So that red tape can be a problem there. Convincing administration that AI will stay here. Oh, it's here. It's here and it's in every field. Doctors are using it. Actors are using it. Sports people are using it. It's in business. It's in marketing. It's here. It's here. And sign up if you haven't signed up for the AI rundown or rundown AI. It will send you a daily email about all the things that are happening around AI, updates in platforms, all kinds of things. That might be a way to help your administrators get on board. Convincing teachers AI is not the enemy. That's a really good one. So go back to some of actually click forward. Molly, I want to show them the resources. So what we have here are some fabulous resources to help teachers understand that AI is not the enemy. Number one, AI is here, like you were saying, Didar, and also it's not the enemy. It's here to help us learn and grow. It helps me learn and grow every day. So if we can help teachers use it to personalize learning and to help kids learn about the things that they're passionate about, that they're interested in. We can make learning relevant. We can make it differentiated. There's so many ways that we can use it to enhance our teaching and make the learning experience better for kids instead of thinking about they're just going to use it to cheat. Well, that's because we haven't taught them how to use it a different way. So that's up to us to do that. Let's see. Implementing AI policy can be quite challenging. So to get that in writing is a process, but it's important. So we get a stakeholder group together, we write out what we want, we look at other AI policies from around the state and the region, and we get started. Seeing AI as a disruptor rather than an educational asset. And sometimes disruptors are educational assets, right? I believe in this case it has disrupted how we teach all kinds of things, but also as we learn to use it better, then it becomes this asset to help us improve our instruction. Let's see, what else do we have here? Yes, thank you for saying that, Brian. The student information number, that's the UID number, that SIS number is considered private. So make sure you don't put anything with that student information number into any chatbot. Yes, Aaron, you can ask AI to help you make your lessons AI resistant. You certainly can. Just like you can ask them to help you make the lesson AI empowered, you can also say, how can I make this lesson plan AI resistant? Because both have a place, right? We still have to do that foundational learning, like we were talking about. You still have to know how to compute. You just don't always have to do all the computation yourself, right? So we still do the foundational learning. And so we don't want kids to use AI to compute every time, right? So help us make some of our lessons resistant. Let's see, what else? Next week's webinar is going to be on amazing AI updates. It's going to be wonderful. Magic School also has a tool to help create AI resistant assignments. And we made it to the end of the chat, and we're over by 6 minutes. I know we had some technical difficulties in here. I know we didn't get to talk about or discuss all the things, but did I put the link to this presentation in here? I think I did. Let me do it again because I'm pretty sure. Okay, there it is. It's there. Please feel free to make a copy, share the resources, whatever it is that you need. Also, I'm going to put my email address in the chat if you want to reach out, if you want to discuss anything AI related or school library related or digital teaching and learning related, please reach out. I'd be happy to talk to you. I'm sorry we went over a little bit. Thank you so much, Stacy, for keeping up with the collaborative notes document. Thank you, Molly, for clicking through our slides and helping us turn on a dime. Thank you, Vera, for being in here with us, and Kathy, and thank you to everybody who attended today. It was wonderful to see you all and to get to spend this afternoon time together. I'm excited for all the good work that you're doing and all the ways that you're using AI. You're doing an amazing job. Thanks, everybody. Y'all are wonderful. And I'm